because I didn't want this kind of business. I don't want these teeny tiny splinters of glass all over my table while we're working. So I'm gonna cut my glass over the tray, but I wanna show you, I wanna give you a little heads up about what I've cut. So here is what I've pre-cut, and I actually have a small piece of this same bowl that I cut for the trumpet part of the daffodils. So we're gonna do like that, okay? So this is all bits and pieces of this HomeGoods bowl. So it's just, I think it was like, I don't remember, it was 2 years ago, a year ago, maybe $5 or $6 for 3 or 4 different bowls. All right, so I had dug out a couple of different like little nuggets from my glass chip stash, but I ended up going with this little piece of vase because I like that I could shape it. These are super thick and hard to cut, these glass chips. So I went ahead and just cut that trumpet shaped nip out of part of this bowl as well. All right, we are gonna paint our background, but before we get started on that, I wanna show you exactly how I nipped my little petals. So there's one of my petals, how I knit these from this vase. Because when I saw this vase in my little basket of bowls, I thought, well, this is perfect. It's kind of buttery yellow, and I just thought it was perfect, okay? So here's what I did. I got out my handy dandy glass art tools first, all right? Yes, Maria, remember when we used these? And what I did was take my scoring tool, okay? So you're gonna use your glass scoring tool, and you're going to score. I scored in between my petals, okay? And I didn't even go all the way like off the end of here. I'm gonna use a marker to kind of help guide you so you can see exactly what I'm doing, and I think I'll be able to wipe that off, okay? So I'm gonna score, like already scored here. So I'm gonna score like from here to here with my scoring tool. And this is kind of thick, so you want to give it a little pressure. So I am going to use my scoring tool, and we're going to score lines right where I did the, oh no, that is not, no, that is a birthstone ring. That's not a wedding band. Y'all are too funny. I had somebody ask me that yesterday too. No, you've missed nothing. You'll be the first to know. You guys will be the first to know if I ever make that decision again. All right, so real quick, I feel like I need like a towel because this against this pan is going to be loud and a little bit annoying. So I'm gonna grab a little towel, and then I'll just go shake it out over the trash. That way I can press down on my score line and be able to score my petals, all right? So you're gonna take your scoring tool, make sure it's nice and fresh. I oiled mine. I never put oil in the oil tank, okay? I always just run my blade over like oil on a paper towel or something so it scores nice, all right? So I'm trying to see, let me look at that real quick. I can't find my super duper extra strong, fancy, very expensive breaking pliers, which bugs me a little, but that's okay, we'll find it. All right, so scoring tool. You want to give yourself, you want to hold on to your piece really well, okay? You don't want it slipping. And I'm just going to score right on that line that they do leak, and then they will create rust in your piece, okay? So I'm going to score right on that line. So I'm going to hold my blade perpendicular, straight up and down, right on my line, and I am just going to run. Whoops, that was not conducive. I'm just gonna run that all the way down to the end, okay? I'm gonna try coming towards myself this time. It's because you wanna cut on the inside of the curve always, okay? Plus this side's a little matte and it has paint, I think. So it's gonna be easier to cut on this side. And let's see if I can actually do it without making a mess. This is why I practiced before we got started. Okay, so I'm gonna start at the end and I am just going to slowly press really hard because this is thick. And I'm gonna just run my scoring tool over, and it doesn't have to be perfect because we're gonna nip, okay? We just wanna break them where these petals are separated so that we can use them as petals. All right, so let's try again. All the way down, last one. Ugh. All right, it's kind of hard to cut on a curve, plus the inside of this bowl is really kind of bumpy as well. All right, so now I'm gonna take my breaking pliers, all right, and I'm gonna mark my little top again because it looks like it's wearing off. So when you have breaking pliers, one of these plastic tips is always gonna have like a little line that tells you where to line up your score with your pliers, okay? So I'm gonna take my breaking pliers right up, okay? And I'm gonna line that up with my line where I scored. And I'm gonna squeeze. Make sure you have, thank you, Kathy. Make sure you have goggles on and you don't wanna cut yourself. And you don't want, if anything breaks and flies at you, you don't want that in your eyes, okay? So use protection. So look how nice that broke off. Now I'd already scored one line, so let me go ahead and break that too. Ooh, that one's gonna be hard. Ugh, hang on. It's fighting me. Ugh, that one may not break. Ugh. All right, we're gonna put it aside. We're gonna break this. We're gonna line up right on our score and squeeze. Dag nabbit. See, this is why you cut them while nobody's looking. Ugh. All right, let me do this. I'm gonna do something real quick. I'm gonna take this hard end of my scoring tool and I'm gonna pop it on the back, okay? Just to give it a little crackage. We're just gonna pop right on the back between, look, that broke already. Right on the back between our leaves where we scored. That's gonna help. Uh-oh, that one broke. That's okay. Don't worry, if something breaks, we can still use it. This is just gonna help it to break where we want it to. Okay, so this one already broke off, so I think we can break that piece. So let's go here and see. Man, it just does not want to break. The other side, I'm gonna tell you, the other side broke so easy. Let me see if I need to go further down. Ugh. Of course, making me look like a dummy. Let's just keep going. That looks like a cute little heart, don't it? Let's just keep going. Maybe one will break. I promise the others broke so easy. Look at this. Y'all like the grunting? What in the heck? There, that one broke. And then we'll nip off the rest. We may have to just start a nip. So if it does like this, just get your nippers, your wheeled nippers, or your nippers that look like this. Let me grab my wheeled nippers. So you're gonna use, these are called wheeled nippers, and these are just nippers, okay? So either one. I like these. All right, so I'm just gonna take and nip right in the middle where I had that score line anyway. Let's do it. Squeeze. Woo! See why I have the tray? and separate. I almost want to leave that a heart. I'm going to leave that one as is, and this one too, because this looks like something fun for next Valentine's Day, don't it? I'm going to leave those. All right. So then what I did, because I don't want them this long, I wanted them to be shorter petals. So first off, what I'm going to do is get that marker off of them. So I'm going to get my alcohol wipe, and you can just rub that marker off. Watch. Ow. Ow. All right, I cut myself. Hang on. All right, hang on, y'all. I hit that point right there, which is something I should not have done. Oh, gosh. All right, I'm going to have to get a Band-Aid. This is a bleeder. I've got a bleeder. Hang on, y'all. See where I'm going to show you what I did and tell you what not to do. I hit my finger right on that sharp point that I just knit. So I'm going to have, I know, what the heck? I'm going to have to see if I can get that bleeding stopped. So give me a second. What I may do is just use a paper towel and some tape. So I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to rub that stuff off, but you're going to use a wipe, and you're going to use your tool to get those sharp points off so that you don't chop your finger off like I just did, okay? So now it's not sharp, and I can just run my finger across it, all right? Do you like that? Isn't that pretty? So this is how I started making my petals. So then I took my handy dandy pliers, my nippers, and I shaped the petal to the size I wanted. So all I did, yeah, don't mix blood. Yes, that's right. Okay, so I want these to be a little shorter. I'm gonna go ahead and like start with this one because it's really long and loopy. See that? This is like a knife sharpener. It's called a honing stone. So you're going to take your sharp points and just rub it across. You can also use a brick and a knife stone, okay? So just hit your sharp pieces, but that's a moot point because we're going to cut that off, okay? So I'm going to use my nippers, and I'm going to show you what I use when I'm in my studio so glass doesn't go everywhere when I'm nipping. I have a bag. I put it in the bag and squeeze. That way it doesn't fly everywhere. So now I have this smaller petal that we can use. We can shape it and use for our piece. I'm going to cut one more. Let's do this one. So this one, I need to nip off that little funny piece. So I'm going to put it in the bag, nip, then we'll get it back out, and nip it again, until we shape it the way we want it. I'd actually put some paint on the back of that one, just trying to check my wound, make sure I'm not dripping blood. So this is how I honed, and I always wear my glasses, Rennie. When you're cutting glass, you do not want this glass flying up in your eyes, okay? But this is how I cut all my little petals for my daffodil, okay? So you're gonna just take your nippers, I go in my bag, and you're gonna cut and shape your little pieces till you get them all the size you want. And I cut out, I'm just gonna load this all up right here. I cut out 5 petals for my daffodil. Yeah, Judy, I don't wear gloves when I'm cutting glass. I suggest, you do what's best for you, safety-wise, do what makes you comfortable, but I do not do well cutting glass with gloves on, so I just don't. And obviously, and if I'm going to tell you this right now, those gloves, the blue gloves, the vinyl gloves, would not have protected me from what I just did to my fingers. So it's all fine. anyway, yeah. So you can watch the replay, Polly, if you missed out on cutting. All right, so I cut all my little petals from that little bowl that I got at HomeGoods a couple years back. It was right around this time, so they could possibly have those again, but any small bowl, vase, just something buttery yellow for your daffodil, okay? Just get the right color. That's really all that's important. So let's go ahead. I've got these kind of where I want them, so I am gonna just pull them off and place them here in this too. Now we're going to, let me make sure, hang on y'all, let me tilt this up just a little. And I wanna make sure we got this whole thing and that I can reach it too. So let's do a little painting on our 4x12. Okay, this is a 4x12. Let me write that down somewhere on something. Where is it? Okay, 4x12 canvas. That's what we're using. Now, what I brought to the table is just some sweet greens, okay? So I brought a little bit of yellow, a little bit of green, and I brought this color that I just bought like a couple of days ago. I'm trying not to jam up my finger again. This is called celery shoots, and it's kind of a green yellow. I just thought it was very spring looking. So we're gonna use this for our background along with a little bit of white, all right? So the only painting we're gonna be doing on this piece is our background. However, if you are in the Shattered Circle membership, I did create a few cute little daffodil tracers for you. So we will be uploading this into the Shattered Circle with this video. So if you're a member, you'll get this tracer in case you want to paint a daffodil instead of doing the glass. All right, if you found a bowl that was clear but had the look of petals, yes, absolutely. Paint the backside. Let me show you what I did to this one, okay? This is the trumpet part of our flower, and it was a little whiter than I wanted it to be. So it didn't quite have enough yellow, so look what I did. I painted this dark, sunny yellow on the back side so that it would be a little more yellow. So you could definitely do that, absolutely. Well, hey, Tony, I'm glad you're back. Let's see. Yes, 4x12, 3-pack for $4.99. That is awesome. Hey, Julie. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on our background. If you just got here, I did cut myself pretty nicely, and I think it's pretty bloody under there. I wish Steve would get here. He could go find me a Band-Aid. This tape is not doing the job, but we'll just power through until he gets here, unless I start bleeding. He went to see his papa, and he went to see his mom and dad today, so he is running a little late, but he'll be here soon. All right, I'm gonna use a sponge brush because it'll go faster. Thank you, Rebecca. And I'm gonna put this white right on my canvas. Ugh, not those parts. Put this right on my canvas. I'm gonna need more than I actually put on there. Let's just I don't know, Tony. I didn't look at it that close. I can see that it is soaking up that paper towel. Hopefully I don't need stitches. That will upset me tremendously. I didn't really look at it too hard because I was like, okay. I cut myself all the time, so I rarely worry too much about it, but we'll take a peek at it in a minute and see what it looks like. All right, so cover it all in white. Thank you, Kathy. Hey, Judy. And then I'm gonna take some of this celery shoot, kind of a greeny yellow, and I am just going to, that was a little more than I wanted. So I'm gonna offload a little bit of that. I'm gonna add a little bit more white. Oh, that's a good idea. That is a great idea. Let's do that. I have one of those finger condom things. So let's do this. I'm just gonna put the glove on. Yeah, it is right on the bend of that knuckle right there. So yeah, that way we don't bleed into our art piece, right? All right, I am going to add a little bit more white to this. And I'm actually gonna grab another sponge brush. I'm gonna hit this with my heat gun and dry it up a little and take that color back just a little bit. So if it is, yeah, they call them that, I think, isn't that? This is a perfect example of if it's a little darker than you want, just dry it and then we can add a little paint right back over the top. Thank you, Karen, for the stars. We're gonna dry this up and we're gonna add a little more white. Oh my God, Amy, that's hilarious. All right, now we'll let that cool for just a second. And it doesn't really hurt, but it was kind of bleeding. I'm gonna get some more white and we're just gonna add a little white to our canvas. I'm making a mess. I got myself in a tizzy, y'all, I think is the problem. I like panicked a little. And now I'm in panic mode. I think that's good. And I like that it's kind of streaky. I'm gonna get a tiny bit of that. All right, that's better. Take it down a notch, right? Because we want our flower to show. Let's make sure. Yes, it's gonna be pretty. All right, so let's stick that in the water. And I think what I'm gonna do now, while we're waiting on this, hopefully it will too. It's okay, it'll be all right. While we're waiting on that to dry, I'm gonna add a tiny amount of glue. Glue. That is not glue, that is green. I know, deep breath, right, Jody? Take a breath. I am going to add a little bit of green. I think I am. I need to use my left hand. Oh gosh, no wonder. It's like a blob. And I'm gonna add a little water to this. Finger caught. That's it. That's it, not a finger condom. I'm sorry, y'all. So obnoxious. So obnoxious. I'm adding a little bit of water so that my green is runny, all right? And I'm gonna take my toothbrush, run it into that green and get my toothbrush saturated. We'll pop off a little extra. Then I'm going to spatter. I'm about 6 or 8 inches above my canvas. I'm gonna spatter just a little bit of that green on my canvas. What do you think about that? Voila. I like it. All right. Now, let's get that dried off. Now can you see that? Just getting a little bit of a more interest on the background so it's not plain. And now we can get this dry and we can start placing our glass. So basically 3 colors. We're gonna use a yellow. No, that wasn't the right yellow. It was the green, celery shoots, and then fresh cut grass. Actually, that says grass green. That's funny, Laura. You want those spatters to be dry. Thank you, Joan. All right. Now we'll let that cool a second, and then we are going to use a little bit of glue. And I'm trying to get all my colors situated. Thank you, Melinda. We use a little bit of glue to keep things in place as we go. So what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna add our petals, and then we're going to add, of course, some vitrigraph. Got to bring our vitrigraph in. I don't know why that keeps happening. Hang on, y'all, with the fan brush. There you go. Give me a second. My video keeps messing up. Okay, so we have vitrigraph. We have our pieces of bowl that we cut. And I have a little bit of green. And I brought in a little bit of these yellow seed beads. This was a sample of seed beads that I had, but I'm gonna figure out that color for you. But they're kind of like yellow luster. They're kind of bright and just sunny looking seed beads, okay? So let's do this. Let's figure out where our flower is gonna go, and then we will figure out well, let's see. This is our, so we need to move this up. This is our stem, so let's figure that out too. Put that here, here, and here. Maybe tilt it upward a little. Let's turn it just a smidge because he's looking up at the sky. Our cute little there we go. Be still. Okay, there's our petals. Thank you, Candy. This is vitrigraph. You can get that on Etsy. It is from a company called JL Glass. Thank you, Becky, for posting that. So we have a little stem, and we have our 5 petals, and then this is the horn in the middle, the little trumpet. And I did add a little bit of a bright yellow to the back of that piece, so it looked a little different, just gave it a little bit of a darker color than the rest of the flower. So it's just like a tiny bit, but enough to like differentiate. Let me show you that close up so that you can kind of see that it does differentiate itself a little bit, all right? So I think I'm gonna scoot that out and scoot these up and layer. There we go. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. I didn't even use my glue, but what I am gonna do to keep my vitrigraph from moving is put a tiny bit of glue there and then slide my vitrigraph right back into that so it doesn't wiggle around. Now I do have, this is like scraps of vitrigraph that I had left over out of a bag. I had very little of it left. So I thought, why not just go ahead and add a few more pieces. So we're just gonna layer them over and just add a little bit more green to the bottom of our piece, just like that. And then we're gonna add some green glass. You can get this on my website. So I'm just gonna get a handful of that and we'll add it right to the bottom. I'm trying not to use my other hand too much. I'm gonna hold this down. We'll add that right to the bottom. That kind of helps with the foundation for our vitrigraph. All right, so, and it also hides the ends. So we'll just add a few pieces of that. Perfect. It's vitrigraph, and it is spring green. And I also have, like I said, this bit of seed beads. And I think we're gonna do our resin first. And then we will add a few seed beads right at the base of the trumpet of the daffodil to give it a little extra oomph of something, okay? So let's go ahead and mix up our glass. I can see the blood in my glove now. Yeah, this is gonna be a boo-boo. That's gonna be a serious boo-boo. All right, so I think I'm gonna mix up, let's see, ouch on the fingers, right. It doesn't even hurt, but I can see that there's blood coming through into my glove. All right, so I think I'm gonna mix up, I'm trying to decide. How much did I use yesterday? I think I'm gonna mix up a ½ an ounce. I'm worried that's not going to cut it though. I think I'm gonna go ahead and mix an ounce, and hopefully I'll let you know in the end exactly how much it took to do that. So we're gonna mark a ½ an ounce of ½ ounce line. Sorry, I can't see. ½ ounce here and a ½ ounce there. That's probably way more than we need. Yeah, I think we did. I think we're gonna need a little more than that because of these flowers. So remind me when we're done. I'm not gonna glue the petals. They'll be fine. I thought I was, but I obviously changed my mind because I'm super distracted because of my little boo-boo on my fingers. So, all right, yeah, it's not, I'm not a doctor. Look at you putting that out there. Yeah, you got to qualify, don't you? I'm going to go ahead and get another glove on. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. Yeah, I was going to, but then I changed my mind, and then I did put a little glue under that vitrigraph. So, ended up not using glue. Sherry, it is literally trial and error. It just is something that in my workshops, in my membership, I'd always tell you how much resin to use, and it's just something that you learn over time. I always say mix a little more maybe than you think you need, but always have something that you can put it on. So I almost always have another little piece of art sitting around that if I mix too much, I can put that on the other piece of art, but it's a pain in the derriere to have to mix again. So if I think it's gonna take, unless I'm certain it's gonna take a ½ an ounce, I'm gonna mix a little more than that. So it's just something that you just learn over time. There's no tried and true formula because every canvas is different. It depends on the size of your canvas, how much glass you're using, etc., etc. So, but inside my membership, we always tell you exactly, every project we do, we tell you exactly how much. Polly, you go, girl. You are gonna be. Becky, look at the comment above yours to see how to spell it. You're gonna be hopping around and running in no time. So we have an ounce. I'm actually gonna pour it into another cup because I should not have put it in that baby cup. It's gonna be too hard to mix. You've gotta have mixing space, okay? Hey, Donna, I'm gonna scooch this over. I'm gonna dump all of this into a little bit of a bigger cup because when you're mixing, you need that empty space for mixing purposes, okay? You don't want to fill your resin all the way up to the top of the cup and then try to mix it, because you are going to end up making a mess, like me last night. All right, so now we're in a cup that's proper. It is, I'm sorry, I know. I'm worried that I may have done a little more damage than I think. We're gonna look at it though, so we'll see. Thank you, Danielle. That's okay. That's okay. I try to turn that off, but for some reason I've been unable to do so. So do not feel bad that you did not give stars. What kind of paint? I just used some yellow craft paint. It is Folk Art School Bus Yellow, just regular old craft paint. If you were to sell this flower, what would you charge? I would probably charge $39-ish, 39 to 49 for this size. But it all depends on your area, your expertise. This is glass. It is a glass tabletop. It has actually wallpaper under the glass. It's a door with legs on it and wallpaper and a sheet of glass. If you do not mix enough, can you add to it without causing it to show? Absolutely, as long as it's still wet, you can absolutely mix up a little more. I've done that a bunch of times too. Oh no, hurt like crazy. This doesn't really hurt, but I feel like it's completely soaked up the bandage on my finger. I cut myself pretty bad. Tony, these stems I purchased this way from JL Glass on Etsy. It's called vitrigraph. Sorry, y'all. I'm a little cuckoo today. I've injured myself. Hey, Steve's here, so I was just telling him. Yeah, I'm sure it will. Tony, this is called, I bought this swirly glass on Etsy, and Becky just posted, it's JL Glass called vitrigraph, and the color is spring green. So, stirring. Amy said, hey, Steve. Hey. He is going, do you know where the first aid kit is? Will you grab it and bring it? Cut 3 fingers today. Ugh, yeah. I haven't cut myself like this in a long time. More often than not, what happens is I'll get just a little sliver of glass like in my skin, and then it just has to work its way out. But I haven't actually cut myself in a hot, stinking minute. There's a lot of hey-haying. Hey. Yeah, I'm probably gonna need something to clean it and some salve of some sorts. You're welcome, Polly. It takes more than a little cut to get me down. Julie said, hey, Steve.
Hey, Julie.
He said, hey, Julie.
You don't want alcohol, do you?
I don't think I want alcohol. They want to know how your garden prep is going. He may come play with us next week. Amy said time was up. So if there's some peroxide in there or something I can clean this with.
This is powder water. So I've got hand sanitizer.
No, I don't think alcohol either. All right, so. That's all right. Okay.
Antiseptic water.
No, Barbara, I don't. The only time I ever really wear gloves. Oh, Julie said, Joyce said hi too. The only time I really ever wear gloves is when I'm doing resin, because they are inhibitive to me. They are annoying, and only wear them because of resin. Oh yeah, do we have, there's some vodka in my office. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm gonna finish this and then we'll do a little first aid. All right. Yeah, I may have to have the wine or vodka for when I take this Band-Aid off. So let's go ahead and resin this. So I'm going to start at the bottom where my little chunks of glass are. This is glass that I sell on my website if you're new here. If you're new here, will you throw a heart up so I can see who our new folks are, so I can say hello and welcome you. So if this is your first time to watch, will you let us know? Look at you, hearts. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for being here. We do, look at all the new folk. We do this every Wednesday, you guys, at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We do miss an occasional Wednesday. We are not robots. We do miss an occasional Wednesday. But thank you, Melissa, for being here. We try to do this every Wednesday. Sometimes we have things that get in the way, but we really try hard to do this every Wednesday and make something really cute for you guys, just to show you what can be done with the glass bits and resin. Welcome, you guys. Yeah, I need peroxide, I feel like. That old dirty bowl got me. Dirty bowl. So we're running the resin right up that glass. So I'm putting it kind of on the top surface of the glass so that, and it's going to take all that resin. So I'm glad I mixed up that. So it kind of rolls down off the glass and adheres it to the surface of the, I'm all jacked up. I am, aren't I, Julie? I cut myself, if you just got here, I cut myself pretty bad a few minutes ago, cutting this glass, demoing how I cut this glass, and it kind of got me all twisted. So hopefully it's not going to need a stitch, because that will make me upset. I've got too much to do to be having stitches in my hand. Right? So I'm going to get all this glass covered first. Cover it all, let it run down the sides, and then we'll go back and hit all the spots. Let me get this a little closer. Thank you guys for answering questions while I focus on this. Then we're going to come back and get the flat parts of the canvas, so that we are ensuring that it's all sticking really well. All right, let's get our little trumpet part. I don't know actually what this part is called. I just keep saying trumpet because it seems like it's shaped like a trumpet. What's the center of a daffodil called, Stephen Gray?
The center part.
Oh, it's called the center? Is that the technological term?
Yes.
Ah. All right, I'm going to start just filling in. I'm going to twist as I go. And spread that resin all over. I'm going to try to keep from using my fingers so I don't have resin all over my gloves. And we used every bit of this. So glad I mixed up the whole ounce because we did use it. All right, now I'm going to use my little popsicle stick to get in between all my vitrigraph. All right, spread that. Don't go over the edge. And I've only got a tiny bit left, and I think it's just enough to finish the spots. Yeah. Here's what is great about doing resin art. If you mess up, just do it again. It's like that with anything. Nobody is an expert, not even myself, when you first start, okay? It takes practice, it takes patience, and it takes the will to be able to do it and finish a piece of art. So give yourself some grace if you're new and just jump in. It's called the eye of the flower. All right, I'm gonna take my finger on this hand and I'm just gonna run right along that curved edge of the canvas just to make sure it's kind of covered. That's the pet peeve for me, is there being that little bare part right on the edge. For whatever reason, I don't know, it bugs me. So we're gonna do that. Then I'm gonna take my heat gun, whatever you said, Gynecium, is that what it is, Gynecium? I like my word better. I'm gonna use my heat gun on low, and I'm gonna pop any bubbles that we created by mixing our resin. Anytime you put two liquids in a cup or a bowl or in a container and stir it, it's gonna incorporate bubbles. So we're just gonna use this heat to pop any of those bubbles as much as we can. You're never gonna get every single bubble, so don't even put that pressure on yourself at all, okay? Keep that heat moving. Oh no, it still hurts to type, yeah. I have a feeling this is gonna be ugly when we get to that part. All right, so I do think I wanna add some seed beads. What do y'all think? Here's what I was thinking about doing. These yellow seed beads, I was thinking about adding right on the end of that little trumpet, just kind of a few around the center of the flower. Gwendolyn, my heat gun has 2 settings, and I usually keep it on low and for art pieces like this. So seed beads, yes. All right, I'm gonna try it this way because I need to keep my glove on because of my injury. So we are going to just try to place some, actually, I don't think I can do that. I'm gonna just dump a few and then we'll move them around with the pointer thingy. Oh, yes, yes. Yes, that is the ticket right there. So now we'll use our little bead awl to move them around, and oh, that really made a difference, didn't it? I want a couple more. Let's see if I can just dump it like that. One more, come on, you little booger. Look at that. What do you think? I'm gonna hold it closer so you can actually see. Can you see that? How much difference it made? Warm water and soap, no alcohol. Okay, I will do that. What do you think? Thank you, Joanne. Put something in your canvas, okay? You can cut a piece of cardboard. Let me show you. You can cut a piece of cardboard a little bit bigger than the inside of your canvas and tuck it up under that little gap on the wood frame. Tuck it up under, and that will keep your canvas tight, okay? So do that if you have trouble with it sinking in the middle. With something like this, because it's not like all the glass is not heavy focused in the middle, it's kind of spread out, you're not gonna have that much of a problem. But like the Christmas trees, sometimes those will kind of sink in the middle. So let me ask you this, yays or nays? Do we put a few little seed beads at the tip of the trumpet here? Let's do a few and see what it looks like. I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2. Ugh. See, I hit it with the little point and now it doesn't want to come off. Right there. Like right on there? Yes or no? Right on the tip? Right there. Let's try a few and see what we think. Because we can always take them off. Okay, yes. All right. Let me put a few and then see what I think. Oh yeah. I'm gonna get a couple more. This little booger. This finger's giving me fits, y'all. It ain't gonna let me do nothing. I think I want one more. One more. Normally I'd be using my hands a little more. Here we go. I'm about to use some bad words. There we go. Look at that. Too cute. Yes. Yes. Yeah, the resin, I am really good at keeping enough resin just on the top surface of my canvas. What you can do is tape around the edges, and then you want to pull that tape off like the next day. You want to make sure you pull it off within 24 hours or it will stick forever. I don't like a resin on the sides of my canvas, so this is just how I work. So let me show you how that looks up close. How pretty is that? That's how I know it's about to get warm. When you start seeing these flowers, that is when my happy starts.